Hello, this is my video demonstrating the capabilities of the medical diabetes chatbot. So this is actually running on my own personal Android phone. I'm just mirroring the screen on my PC to better record the capabilities of the chatbot. So generally speaking, the chatbot its intended purpose is to inform, give the user knowledge on what to do or what this is, and to help them with their blood sugar depending on what score they got on their glucose monitor. So let's say, for example, the user wants to know just what this application is. Then the user can just say, hey, who are you? And then it'll just simply reply back, giving information on what it is and what its intended purpose is. Uh, let's say the user wants to know what is diabetes. And in that case, the user will put in something like diabetes about. Or, if another thing about the chatbot is that it will also understand multiple state, or they'll understand the same thing even if the statement might be worded differently. So as I put in here diabetes about, it gives you information on what is diabetes, but if you type in something like what is diabetes, then it still understands that the user is still just wanting information on what is diabetes. So, it understands if the question is being reworded differently, but it still understands, okay, this is the topic the user wants. So, gives you information on what diabetes is, or let's say the user is suffering from either type 1 or type 2 diabetes, because it isn't just generally diabetes, but we also have two types, 1 and 2, and there is another one called gestational diabetes, which impacts more towards women who are pregnant. So, the chatbot does have information for that. So, what is type 1 diabetes? Gives you information on what type 1 diabetes is. If you ask it what is type 2 diabetes, it'll also give you information on what type 2 is. If you ask it, hey, what is gestational diabetes, it gives you information on what that is also. So, it understands that, hey, there's different types of diabetes, and each user not all users have type 1, not all users have type 2, not all users have gestational diabetes, so it has to understand that, hey, there are different users, many of the users have diabetes, but they all have different backgrounds on what type they have. So it understands that. Or also, another thing is, what if the user wants to know what the symptoms are? So you can just say, hey, what are my symptoms? It gives you information on what the symptoms are, the general symptoms of diabetes, or let's say the user wants to know how this could affect them in the long run. What are the complications of diabetes? Then they can ask, what are the complications? Then the chatbot will reply back with information giving you, hey, these are what the long-term complications are, and these are some of the things you'll see in the long run. So beware of this, beware of that. But also, as mentioned before, as there are different types of diabetes, it needs to understand different type of information. So of course, maybe the user wants to know, hey, what causes type 1 diabetes? So, what causes type 1 diabetes? We'll give you information on what causes type 1 diabetes. If you ask it, hey, what causes type 2 diabetes? It'll give you information on what causes type 2 diabetes. If you ask it, hey, what's gestational diabetes, or what causes it, then it'll give you information on what causes gestational diabetes. So, gives you information on that also. And then another thing about the chatbot is that it also helps you out with your blood sugar range. So, let's say the user took a glucose monitor, and within that glucose monitor, it helps the user, figure out where they stand in their blood sugar. But what if they want to know what each number would exactly mean in the glucose monitor? So that's where the chatbot can also help. So let's say, for example, the user took the glucose monitor and it outputted a number, and the user wants to know what does this number mean on the glucose monitor. In that case, user can ask, hey, is my blood sugar bad? And then the chatbot will say, oh, okay, I'll see, I'll determine whether your blood sugar is healthy or not. Just input whatever number you got on your glucose monitor. So let's say the user got a 84. Let's say they got an 84 on the glucose monitor. Then the chatbot will say, hey, this is a yellow flag warning. Your blood sugar, it's low. And usually the information you see on the top part here, it's just telling you, hey, it's low. You might be going through some symptoms. And then the bottom text is usually where it gives you more information on how to, better relieve yourself, better help you, increase your blood sugar. But also depends on your range. So let's say, hey, you have a score of uh, let's say you got a score of 162, then it would say, hey, you are in a yellow range, yellow flag. Your blood sugar is high. Then the top text would say, oh, your blood sugar is high. Do you need help to get that? Or these are the things you can do to better help you either increase or decrease your blood sugar. It'll also give you a warning, especially since it's split off into two zones: a yellow flag and a red flag. The red flag, if the user has a number, if they receive the number from the glucose monitor that is way too high or way too low, then the chatbot will tell you, hey, this is dangerously high or dangerously low. So if what is my so if I ask it again, is my blood sugar bad? And then it's like, oh, okay, you want to know what the results mean from your glucose monitor. All right, tell me what number you got on your glucose monitor. And then the user's like, oh, I got something like 3 341, let's say. In that case, the chatbot knows, oh, okay, this is a red flag high. Blood sugar is very high and requires immediate treatment. So it knows it knows by the number that the user put in that, hey, you are in a cautious yellow zone on either the low or high blood sugar, or you're either on the yellow or red zone or yellow flag on either the low or high blood sugar. So it's telling you, hey, you're on the cautious level, or B, you are in a very dangerous level on your glucose blood sugar. So it helps you out with that. And another feature is the speech to text. So it's just one of the features the chatbot has. So let's say, what are you? It understands. So the phone, due to the fact that this is a mobile application, it does have speech to text, in which it uses the embedded microphone in your phone. This should work with Android and also iOS. Well, obviously it works on Android since this is on my Android phone. And then another feature is actually its multilingual feature. So let's say the user wants to speak to the chatbot, either speak or text to the chatbot in uh, Spanish, for example. As the three languages right now the chatbot can understand is English, Spanish, and French. So let's say the user types something in Spanish about, hey, what is insulin? So this is a Spanish statement just saying, hey, what is insulin? They can put that, and the chatbot will give you information. Oh, this is what insulin is. It takes a small little delay for the chatbot to reply back, because it figures out that, oh, this isn't English. This is either Spanish or French, and you take a while to analyze this language, see what it is, and output the information. But yeah, so to just recap, the chatbot for the medical diabetes chatbot has is its purpose is to provide information and knowledge towards the users, help them out with them understanding what the numbers mean on the glucose monitor to tell them, hey, you're in a cautious zone, either on the low or high spectrum on blood sugar, or hey, you're in a very dangerous, red zone, either on the low or high blood sugar spectrum in which you should seek medical treatment. And these are some of the things you can do, and to advise to uh, do your uh, treatment again or go through the glucose monitor again just to make sure how your blood sugar, if it increased to the levels it should or decreased to the levels it should. And it also does text to, or speech to text, where it uses the embedded microphone, and it also will understand input from statements that are in Spanish and French. But yeah, that's about it.